stolen pickup truck is not unusual for Florida Highway Patrol. A stolen pickup truck towing a flatbed trailer during an active pursuit is a different story altogether. Troopers attempted to stop the vehicle after confirming it had been reported stolen, but the driver immediately made his intentions clear. Instead of pulling over, he accelerated away with the trailer still attached, turning the incident into one of the more unusual pursuits troopers had seen in some time.
10-4. 192, but then he swerved and got back on the interstate. We're still going eastbound.
Even with the added weight and limited maneuverability of the trailer, the driver continued trying to outrun law enforcement as troopers stayed close behind and waited for the situation to develop. The chase took another unexpected turn. During the pursuit, a handgun suddenly came flying from the driver's window and landed along the roadside. Whoever tossed it likely assumed it had disappeared for good. It had not. Troopers saw exactly where the firearm landed, marked the location, and continued the pursuit without losing momentum. Eventually, the driver appeared to realize that the chase was not going to end in his favor. Rather than continuing to flee, he pulled into a nearby rest area and surrendered peacefully to waiting troopers without any further confrontation. Once the handcuffs were secured, the charges began to add up. Investigators say the suspect now faces allegations related to possession of a stolen vehicle, unlawful firearm possession, and additional offenses connected to the pursuit itself. On June 11, 2026, by the time Arkansas State Police received the request for assistance, officers with the Little Rock Police Department were already in an active pursuit. Troopers responded immediately, merged into the chase, and soon assumed the lead role in the operation.
He had one, but one came up behind. Slowing down let me take primary. It's going to be Boyd George, X-ray 50 Nora.
As soon as the Arkansas State Police trooper became the primary unit, he recognized something experienced pursuit officers tend to notice quickly. The driver was not using the vehicle's full capability. Traffic ahead was light, and the roadway offered plenty of room to maneuver. For troopers who handle pursuits regularly, those conditions often point toward a predictable ending.
Coming up to a red light at East Broadway. He ran into, we're on 165. Looks like he's pulling over. Just started. Came out of it. Got a failed TBI at the crossroads.
Rather than allowing the chase to continue unnecessarily, officers moved to bring the incident to a controlled conclusion. An initial tactical intervention failed to stop the fleeing vehicle, but a second precision immobilization technique maneuver worked exactly as intended, bringing the pursuit to a safe and orderly stop. With the vehicle disabled, troopers quickly moved in and removed both occupants without any further resistance. The driver and passenger were taken into custody at the scene, ending the pursuit without injuries or additional incidents. Then came the explanation. According to troopers, the driver insisted he was an attorney, claimed he understood the law, and maintained that he had done nothing wrong throughout the incident. That argument will likely face its first real test somewhere much quieter than the side of a highway inside the jail cell where he was booked following the pursuit. On January 9th, 2026, by the time the call reached the Florida Highway Patrol, deputies from Collier County were chasing a stolen black Hyundai Kona northbound on Interstate 75 when neighboring agencies were asked to assist. A Florida Highway Patrol trooper moved into position near mile marker 133, waiting for the fleeing vehicle to come to him rather than trying to catch it from behind. The trooper merged into the pursuit and tucked in behind the stolen sport utility vehicle. Almost immediately, the driver responded by pushing the speedometer past 120 miles per hour, making it clear that this encounter was not going to end with a simple traffic citation.
Northbound, passing the 139 overpass, speeds 120 left lane.
As the chase continued, the Hyundai darted aggressively through traffic, weaving between vehicles and forcing surrounding drivers to react as the pursuit moved north along Interstate 75. Officers coordinated positions while waiting for the safest opportunity to bring the situation under control.
120 miles per hour.
Then, the strategy shifted. The primary trooper was instructed to move ahead and clear the way, allowing the units already positioned behind the suspect to execute the plan that had been developing throughout the pursuit. The confrontation that followed was violent and costly.
488 advised hit. On camera view, hit.
By the time the Hyundai finally stopped moving, 4 law enforcement vehicles had sustained damage. Officers broke the driver's window, removed the suspect from the vehicle, and quickly placed him into custody. The driver was identified as 60-year-old Michael Lawrence Sink, who was later turned over to Collier County deputies for transport to the Lee County Jail. When the dust settled, the numbers told the story: 4 damaged patrol vehicles, 1 stolen Hyundai Kona, and a 60-year-old fugitive who decided to test his luck against the Florida Highway Patrol on Interstate 75. It was a gamble that did not pay off. What looked like one of the most routine traffic stops imaginable lasted only a few minutes before turning into a felony pursuit across rural roads in Arkansas. Trooper Russell initially stopped a black pickup truck on State Highway 37 after observing 2 simple violations. The driver was not maintaining his lane and was not wearing a seatbelt. The driver, later identified as Troy Garrett Alexander, initially complied and pulled to the side of the road. For a moment, it appeared the encounter would end with little more than a citation. Then the records check came back. The license plate attached to the pickup was determined to be fictitious. As Trooper Russell walked back toward the truck to continue the stop, Alexander suddenly shifted into drive and accelerated away, leaving the shoulder and heading north onto nearby farm roads. In an instant, a routine seatbelt stop had transformed into a felony fleeing case.
Here we go, left or right? We went right. We're going over the interstate. We're on asphalt now. Going to the interstate, going northbound.
Joel, how much that on 380?
You got back on interstate? Nigga, we're on a service road. We're back on dirt now. I don't know what road we're on. Probably still, I think, County Road 82, just on the other side of the interstate. Wrecked out, roll over. Start me EMS.
The pursuit continued through rural Arkansas until Alexander eventually crashed, bringing the vehicle to a stop. But even then, the encounter was not over. After stepping out of the wrecked pickup, Alexander walked toward the trooper with his hands visible. However, despite repeated instructions, he refused to remain on the ground and repeatedly attempted to turn his body toward the officer during the arrest process. Concerned about the potential threat, the trooper deployed a conducted electrical weapon in drive stun mode to gain compliance. The tactic worked, allowing officers to safely secure Alexander in handcuffs. Following the arrest, he was transported to St. Bernard's Medical Center in Jonesboro for evaluation and treatment before being medically cleared and transferred directly to the Jackson County Detention Center. Investigators later discovered that Alexander's legal problems had started long before the traffic stop. Authorities charged him with driving on a suspended license, displaying fictitious registration, operating a vehicle without insurance, failure to wear a seatbelt, felony fleeing, resisting arrest, and 2 outstanding failures to appear that were already waiting for him before the pursuit ever began. On June 9, 2026, by the time Arkansas State Police became involved, Bentonville Police Department officers had already made the decision to terminate their pursuit of a green sport motorcycle that was racing through the city without a license plate. The last known location was broadcast to nearby units, and it did not take long for a state trooper positioned near 14th Street to spot the motorcycle again. The trooper pulled in behind the bike and activated emergency lights. That was all the invitation Jacob Williams needed.
We're in the roundabout right now. Looks like we're going to be going back towards 8th Street. See if this building get up by the glass building and walk on.
What followed was less of a pursuit and more of a rolling hazard. Williams ignored red lights, crossed into opposing lanes of traffic, cut through crosswalks, and repeatedly used sidewalks as escape routes while pushing speeds approaching 90 miles per hour. At one point, even the sidewalk outside the Walmart home office became part of the route as the motorcycle darted through areas never intended for vehicles.
South on Main. Negative, he's on the green left now behind
Troopers attempted to contain the bike by closing off possible escape routes, but every time it appeared the pursuit was about to end, Williams found an opening and slipped through it. As units rotated positions and a new primary trooper took over the lead role, officers continued searching for a safe opportunity to end the chase before an innocent driver or pedestrian was injured.
Hey, take over call. I'm going to see if I can get the first call.
Eventually, that opportunity came without force being necessary. The motorcycle finally stopped, and Williams climbed off the bike. Instead of running again, he dropped to his knees and raised his hands, surrendering to troopers at the scene. He was taken into custody without further incident and transported to the Benton County Sheriff's Office for booking. During the intake process, deputies discovered approximately 5 grams of methamphetamine in his possession, adding yet another charge to an already lengthy list. By the end of the incident, Williams was facing allegations that included fleeing from law enforcement, reckless driving, operating a motorcycle without a license plate, driving with a suspended license, and possession of methamphetamine. On November 24, 2024, for Florida Highway Patrol troopers working Interstate 10 that night, the first thing that stood out was not the speed, it was the darkness. A white Dodge Charger was moving rapidly along the interstate with no headlights and no taillights illuminated, making it nearly invisible to surrounding traffic. The moment troopers attempted to investigate, the driver, later identified as Marcos Tulio Rivas Jr., made it clear he had no intention of stopping. speeds quickly climbed beyond 130 miles per hour as Rivas pushed the vehicle deeper into Leon County. To make matters worse, he repeatedly switched his lights off while weaving through traffic, driving into opposing lanes and making dangerous passing maneuvers in an apparent attempt to disappear into the darkness. At those speeds, every decision carried consequences. What began as a traffic violation had become a pursuit where a single mistake could have cost innocent lives. That mistake came near Bucklake Road. Approaching a sharp curve, both the fleeing Charger and the pursuing patrol vehicle were unable to safely negotiate the turn. The pursuit ended in a violent crash that left 2 Florida Highway Patrol troopers seriously injured. Emergency crews transported the injured troopers to Tallahassee Memorial Hospital for treatment. Rivas was also hospitalized as a result of the collision. After being medically released, he was taken into custody and charged with felony fleeing and attempting to elude law enforcement with wanton disregard causing injury. The criminal case later concluded with Rivas entering a plea of no contest. He was sentenced to 60 days in county jail, followed by 3 years of probation and a 1-year suspension of his driver's license.